It was bound to happen. This is my 5th 3.0 Duramax diesel. Not one has had an oil leak, but my ZR2 with 1,600 and something miles has an oil leak. Now, this one's a tough one to figure out exactly where it's coming from because it's right where the rear main cover plate as well as the oil pan kind of come together. So part of me is thinking that it's lower oil pan, and I say that because over here on this edge there's oil right there, and oil will always drip down. And so if you look at the rear cover plate, yes, that would go against what I just said, because then it would have to come up in order to be part of that. But it seems to me like it's the oil pan right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this off, and then I'm going to recheck it at a later date. However, before I do any of that, I want to talk about the oil leaks and what's going to happen now. So the lower oil pan is really not that big of a job. Like, that's totally doable. I've done one on this channel. I have a video of it. And the rear main cover plate, now that's a little bit more extensive, because what has to happen is the transmission needs to be removed, and that's going to give me access to that rear cover plate. However, before that can happen, the exhaust has to be removed, and that's the whole DPF setup right here. And while all this is not a huge job, it's actually a big job because the transmission has to come out, right? So in doing that, you get to the rear cover plate. Now there's 2 plugs in the back there that should be resealed whenever I take that off. Now with the truck with only 1,600 miles though, I'm real curious what is the cause. And we won't know until I do my test of cleaning and then drive, and then I'll take a closer look. This did leave a couple drips in my driveway, and that's how I noticed it, and I figured I would go take a look, and sure enough, we have the oil leak back there. Now, if you have a 3.0 Duramax with an oil leak, obviously it could be one of these components that I just described right here and showed, or it could be coming from the front, which is not my case, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, just to try to help out. So on the front, there's the engine cover, or there's the front cover plate, which is the front crank seal is built into it. Now you could have a leak from there. That's all just silicone GMS that seals it up against the engine block. Or what's the most common area of leakage that I've found in these 3.0 Duramax diesels is the actual block plug that's just above that plate. Now what you want to do is remove that, clean it all up super good. Definitely get the threads cleaned up and get the plug all cleaned up. You don't have to replace it. You could replace it if you really wanted to, but there's really no need to. Clean it up, and then what I like to do is just put a little bit of silicone on there, GMS, and then I tighten it down and I let it cure for quite a while, several hours at least. And this is by far the most common oil leak point right there. So if you're getting engine oil that's all over the underside of your truck, and it looks like it's coming from the front of the oil pan, it's probably going to be this. It's rarely the front of the oil pan, and it could be that front cover, but realistically, this plug right here, this is the go-to on the majority of the oil leaks. So I will have to check out my truck after I've driven it a little bit, and we'll see where my leak is coming from, and definitely will update everyone when I find out.